This is WMNF Tampa 88.5 FM, Community Conscious Radio.
The opinions presented on the Healthy Steps show are the evidence-based opinions of Dr. Fred Harvey, the callers, and his guests. These are not the opinions of the staff, the volunteers, or the board of WMNF. The information provided on the show is not intended to diagnose or treat any disease. There is no implied patient-physician relationship in these calls. The nature of the calls is educational and informational only.
Hello there, my beloved listeners, and welcome to the Healthy Steps radio show here on WMNF Tampa, and the only station that Isadora Zelda White Stollerman Wing would ever stream on an airplane, and you can stream us as well at WMNF.org. Today is Ask Me Anything Monday, and that opens a deep well of possibilities. The whole kit and caboodle depends on your questions, comments, and concerns. So let's keep Irene, my regnant soul of the control room, busy this morning. Just give us a call at 813-239-9663. That number again is 813-239-9663. You can send an email to dj@wmnf.org, and last but not least, you can also text us at 813-433-0885. Good morning to you, Dr. Harvey. Let me tarry no more and get this show down to what's really real. You, our listeners, and their AMA Monday concerns. What have you got to get us started today, Dr. Fred?
Well, happy Monday, Bill, and all you listeners.
And back at you, Doc.
So this is February, and February is American Heart Disease Month. And Saturday was the first day of February, and that's a day designated by the American Heart Institution or Association to help us recognize for women that heart disease is still the number one cause of death. We spend a lot of time talking about breast cancer because it's devastating and very frightening to get a diagnosis of cancer. But breast cancer kills only 1 in 30 women, whereas heart disease kills 1 in 5. Lung cancer is actually even more prevalent than breast cancer, but because it's a very sensitive tumor, we spend a lot of time on that. And rightly so, because it can devastate lives, but so does heart disease. And heart disease and breast cancer and lung cancer have very similar origins, very similar methods of prevention. And so I think it's worth it to consider our chronic illnesses or chronic degenerative diseases like cancer and heart disease as one way of the body exhibiting its deterioration with abuse. Not just time. You know, we often in medicine make the mistake of relating illness to age. And in reality, it's just the longer you live, the more chances you have of being exposed to the toxic chemicals that cause the diseases. And so for cancer and heart disease, there's a principal cause that fortunately many people have discovered and have been able to extract themselves from the addiction, and that's tobacco. So I have one question for everybody out there. If you're smoking cigarettes, why? What is the reason you're still smoking cigarettes, pipes, what are they called, hookahs, cigars, or any other poison in a stick, a bowl, whatever? There's just no reason, really. Our predecessors on this continent understood what tobacco was. So it's a ceremonial herbal. It actually is used to create alertness when you have need to focus on a problem at hand. It's used to call the great spirit keeper of the East, Wabin the eagle. You don't need eagle energy all the time. And in fact, the people that call that eagle energy all the time end up with stress-related illness. They end up having heart attacks and strokes and high blood pressure and cancer. That's oxidative stress, toxin-induced destruction of your body's tissues. And so, yeah, cigarettes are still the principal cause of lung disease, heart disease, and cancers. So stop them. Seek help. You know, there's no point in giving the man the profit on this one because he's going to take it another way anyway. We have to limit the choice toxins because there's a bunch of non-choice toxins we can't avoid, like the PFAS. I've talked about the forever chemicals that hide in our environment. They're invisible. We don't know they're there, but they still kill us. And until we rein in capitalism and control the people that kill us with these chemicals for profit, we'll have some issues. But we can make choices. So stop the tobacco. Another one is alcohol. Alcohol is well established, a corrupter of the vascular system, a destructor of the heart muscle. Excess alcohol consumption leads to inflammation and damage to the heart muscle called cardiomyopathy. It results in heart failure, not necessarily a heart attack. But if you binge drink and have 8 drinks in a night and your blood pressure goes up to 220 over 120, you might actually blow out an artery in your brain and have a stroke, or you might do the same thing in your heart. So alcohol consumption actually increases your risk. So there's another toxin, like the choice toxin, that you can avoid. But overall, there's some really simple things we can all do for prevention, including getting rid of those 2 poisons. One of them is exercise. It's critical. We have so much data that minimal even exercise changes our physiology enough to actually help prevent events like the development of diabetes or a heart attack. And so exercise of a variety of different methods can really, really reduce your risk of having a heart attack or developing heart disease. Most people talk about aerobic exercise, but you don't really have to actually make your heart pump really, really hard. A brisk walk, about a 20-minute mile. I mean, that's a nice pace. If you do at least 2.5 miles per hour, that's a bit better than, a bit less than 20 minutes. 20 minutes is 3 miles per hour. So if you, just drop it a 25-minute mile, you're not doing too badly. And if you do a couple of those a day, you're really in a better place. 20 minutes a day is shown to turn back diabetes, depression, and reduce your risk of recurrent cancers. So it's really simple. But, if you're not a walker, you have other possibilities: cycling, dancing, gardening even, rowing. And then the non-impact Tai Chi and Qigong. And those lead into another lifestyle change: mindfulness. Tai Chi and Qigong can be mindful meditation or movement meditation. And meditation is another way of reducing stress, and stress is directly associated with having a heart attack. So you might want to look at reducing your risk simply by doing some really pleasant exercise like Tai Chi, Qigong. You can find it online. You can find it on YouTube. Restorative Tai Chi or Qigong starts in a chair. I mean, if you've got heart disease already and you're really having trouble exercising, that's the place to start because you don't have to stand. But mindfulness really helps to reduce stress, and stress is really a piece of this. If you're less stressed, you're not going to be seeking out the alcohol as much. Dietary influences are critical also. When we eat the standard American diet, we are actually eating toxins. Standard American diet, meaning you eat processed food, because we have so many good purveyors of processed food in this nation that it's difficult to avoid the temptation. And so the temptation to eat a Twinkie or a pint of ice cream is there, but you can walk on that and find something else. The key is you want to shop the periphery of the store, and you want to get whole foods, eating whole grains, whole meats, and whole vegetables whole fruits. This is really the answer. Even if you can't afford all organic, you can peel some of them. But, I've talked about the Dirty Dozen and the Clean 15, a list produced by the Environmental Working Group. The Dirty Dozen are the ones that you really can't clean the pesticides and herbicides off of. Things that have thin skins or incorporated into their being, like celery just sucks all that herbicide and pesticide up into its watery core. Strawberries have no skin, so the toxins penetrate the flesh as they do with really thin-skinned tomatoes. Peppers and kale, blueberries and apples and peaches. These are all poisoned foods if you don't buy them organic. If you do buy those, you're better off. Potatoes are one of the highest fungicide and herbicide foods that you can buy that isn't labeled organic. And so you really want to be looking towards these diets that are whole food and two that are available online that have been proven in numerous clinical studies to actually impact high blood pressure, heart disease, and longevity are the DASH diet, DASH. That's been around for a long time. It's a low sodium, very whole food diet, and just a Mediterranean diet where you eat 80 to 90% plants and 10 to 20% animal products, then it's all whole food, home cooked. This is how you actually control the amount of toxins that are going into your body. You cook it yourself. And so all of these lifestyle changes can be really, really helpful. The dietary changes, but if you are concerned that you have heart disease, you might want to look into it with some laboratories testing. Next week, I'm going to talk about laboratory testing. And in the following week, I'm going to talk about supplementation, because there's a lot of information out there that's disinformation, misinformation. Big medical institutions like Johns Hopkins try to convince you not to take any supplements because they do these dumb studies where they take one line item and see if fish oil is going to prevent your heart attack. No, but it contributes. It's not a line item that can do it alone, because when you end up eating all this processed foods, fish oil is not enough to cover up the damage done by that. So you really have to take the entire picture into account and do the right things for the body and not just expect a panacea magic bullet that's going to cure everything. It just doesn't happen. That's the delusion of Western medicine, and it's the delusion of people that seek out integrative medicine, hoping to have a natural supplement that does what their statin drug does. And I will be talking about statins later in the month, because we do have medical intervention that's very useful. But I thought it would be a good place to start off with an understanding of what we're dealing with and how some of the simple foundational stuff that we can do. And I'd love to talk to you about it. We are on WMNF Tampa, 88.5.
Absolutely. And as you said, we're really, really looking forward to getting your calls with your questions and concerns. So if you're just tuning on in, we're glad you have, and welcome. This is the Healthy Steps Radio Show with Dr. Fred Harvey, as he said, here on WMNF Tampa. You're invited to participate by giving us a call and putting Irene to work. Dial 813-239-9663. Again, that number is 813-239-9663, or continue to send your emails to dj@wmnf.org. And in that little past that I've been speaking, we got a call from Gary, one of our local regulars. Good morning, Gary.
Well, again, hello, you guys.
Hi, Gary.
After listening to you for week after week, I made a decision that from now on, I'm going to get strawberries, bananas, grapes, and all that from a organic store, because I'm tired of putting all them toxins in my body from all them pesticides at different stores and all that. I'm going to eat healthier. And I decided as of yesterday, I'm going to get all my produce at organic stores. Thank you.
Well, congratulations, Gary. Great choice there. But again, I mentioned earlier, if you don't have a lot of spare cash to get everything organic, you can actually do pretty well looking at the Dirty Dozen Clean 15. Environmental Working Group does this every year for us. And the Clean 15 are the 15 fruits and vegetables that rarely get sprayed, or you can peel them and get rid of the toxins. But basically, avocados and bananas and onions don't get pesticides on them because the skin's too thick and there aren't any pests that actually like to eat onions.
All right. Thank you for advice. Thank you.
You're so welcome.
Well, and congratulations to you there, Gary. I think that's a great change in your style there. And I do have Dean and Victoria on the line. Let's go to Dean. Good morning, Dean.
Morning, guys. How you doing today?
Excellent. How are you?
Oh, it's a warm morning, that's for sure. So, looking at peptides, and I was wondering if you could comment and what your thoughts are on the different peptides that are out there, such as BPC 157 and the CGC and the growth hormone releasing peptides.
I think that there are many peptides that your body utilizes to get the job done. One of my favorite peptides is called glutathione. A tripeptide made up of the amino acids glycine, glutamine, and cysteine. And that little powerhouse is one of the best detoxifying agents in the body, and it's also one of the best antioxidants. It helps our body regenerate the fat-soluble antioxidants E and A, and it also helps to regenerate vitamin C so that after they've been utilized, they can be reused so your body doesn't have to find new ones. And there are other peptides like insulin and many other of the hormone-like signals are peptides. And so, yeah, they do have function. And there's some interesting anecdotal information about things like the BPC 157. People talk about getting good results. I've not used any of those specifically, but there is research on many of the human peptides.
Yeah, that the FDA really doesn't want to research those or fund those types of.
The FDA doesn't do any. The FDA doesn't do bench research. Corporations have to. And I think most of the corporations realize that these peptides are readily available and they will not be able to patent them, so they will not pay the hundreds of millions of dollars to get anything certified by the FDA, except for the ones that are, currently known as useful drugs, like vasopressin.
Okay. Well, great. Thank you for the information. It's always a joy hearing you guys. I don't always agree with everything, but hey, I take what I like and leave the rest, right?
Hey, we can agree to disagree, my friend. There's lots of good information out here.
Yes, you're a great guy. Thank you, guys. Have a wonderful day.
You too.
And yes, I've got Victoria from Gulfport. Good morning to you, Victoria.
Good morning. I'm questioning the use of bromelain. It was suggested to me for inflammation. I know it's a digestive enzyme, but I just wondered the doctor's take on that and how much is recommended, if it is recommended.
Bromelain is an enzyme that shows up in pineapple. Bromeliads make bromelain, and it is an enzyme that does something in the pineapple. I have no idea what it does, but it is a protease enzyme, so I'm not sure which protein it's breaking down inside of that plant, but for us it can help break down protein in our gut. But when taken away from meals, there's a really good evidence that many proteins can be absorbed whole into your body. And you can actually get some anti-inflammatory effect from proteases because many proteins are involved in the cytokine storms that cause inflammation. So reducing our body volume of them, even if it's just in the gut, is enough to take some of the pressure off the body. So bromelain is a decent enzyme to use for anti-inflammatory function.
And do you recommend, I have 1,000 GDUs per tablet? Do you recommend one a day, two a day?
Well, I don't use it alone because I don't think there's any panaceas. So the bromelain that I use is in combination with curcumin extract, a boswellia extract, and some nattokinase and some vitamin C. It's in a combination that's anti-inflammatory, and so because I don't think there's one way to actually deal with inflammation. So, and yes, you might want to use it 2-3 times a day between meals, so that you're not using it in the food matrix to digest your dinner.
Right. All right. Well, thank you very much.
You are welcome.
Appreciate it. Bye-bye.
Well, we have gone dark here, so Doc, I'll give you a chance to sort of glean on over the emails that have come on in, and I'm going to remind folks, you are listening to the Healthy Steps Radio Show with Dr. Fred Harvey on WMNF Tampa, and don't dawdle, do not be the last few callers. Be a caller right now at 813-239-9663. Again, that number is 813-239-9663. 9663. And as I said, the doc is reading emails, so you can continue to send emails to this address, dj@wmnf.org. And if that weren't enough, you can send us a text at 813-433-0885. What have you got for us, Doctor?
Well, one of our regulars, Peter, sends a message. Last week, he mentioned how drug commercials state all the bad symptoms that can occur if taken, and he forgot to mention that they also state, don't take if you have certain issues like high blood pressure, high blood sugar, eye issues, abnormal bowel movements, abnormal breathing, stomach discomfort, arthritis, depression, etc., etc. Basically, don't take this drug if you're a human and you want to live. Good observation, Peter. I totally agree. What's interesting is that we use this euphemism called side effect. Well, it's one of the best ploys that has been ever used to con people about whether to ingest a poison or not. So side effects, there's no such thing. These are adverse concurrent consequences because there's no quotes main effect. Like there's no such thing really as an antihypertensive, an antibiotic, or an antidepressant. There are chemicals that have been made that seem to actually tweak the receptors, the antennae that listen for certain signals in the body. And when these chemicals tweak those receptors, they actually go through other parts of the body. They may actually tweak different receptors, and the effect of the receptors that gets tweaked might be different from what we might expect when we have the natural chemical that would be in the body. Say we have a adrenaline, epinephrine, that stimulates an adrenaline receptor. And that causes tightening in the blood pressure or blood vessels and increasing of the blood pressure. Well, when you take a beta adrenergic blocker, you take a chemical that's been designed to sit in the antenna receptor that hears the signal of adrenaline and block the adrenaline from getting into that little signaling area so that the body can't actually get the signal from the adrenaline. But that blockage also blocks other signals the adrenaline receptor sends out. But it also might sit in an ancillary receptor that resembles the adrenaline receptor that hasn't been studied specifically in this case because they don't care about it because they're actually developing a drug to treat this specific receptor to change this blood pressure or heart rate problem. But you have other concurrent areas of affect in the body that these people euphemistically called side effect, but they're really actually effect. And they really actually do these things. So it's really euphemistic to say that these are side effects. They're concurrent effects, and we have to expect that in a certain amount of people, we're going to have these adverse, weird occurrences that are dismissed quite often by clinicians who say, oh, I haven't seen that happen before. It's pretty sad, pretty annoying, too, when you're sitting in the doctor's office with a serious symptom and they say, keep taking it. I've not seen that before. No, I'm not going to keep taking it, is what most of my clients say. That's not critical thinking. What planet are you on, dude? So in any event, No, this is not something that we want to just have out there on the TV. And I totally agree. We need to get rid of drug commercials on TV, just like we got rid of alcohol commercials. I think we have a few callers on the line.
Actually, we do. That last shout out was pretty effective. I've got Jan, Susan, and Kirk. Let's go to Jan in Tampa. Good morning, Jan.
Hi, Dr. Harvey. I appreciate your show. Hello?
Hello there. How are you? And what do you have for us today, Jan?
Well, I wanted to know, you see these little pedal things that you're supposed to pedal when you're sitting?
Yes.
I just wonder, are they any beneficial at all, or what do you think of them?
I would say movement is movement.
Okay.
So if you're going to move, good.
Okay. But you don't think these are any good, or what's the story?
Movement is movement. So anytime you move, you are actually improving your physical condition.
Okay, so I can't get around a whole lot. I have a bad arthritis in my leg. So
yeah, that would be a good thing. Sitting down and doing recumbent pedaling like that, like a recumbent bicycle, that's a good thing. But also, since you don't get up and move a lot, you might want to actually do chair-based Tai Chi or Qigong. Do restorative Tai Chi in a chair. You can find videos of it on YouTube. It's very powerful.
All right, but you do think that those little pedal devices, I think, because I know that some of them are you power them, others of them you have to plug in, and that doesn't seem really very good to me if somebody's doing it itself, electrically.
Well, the plug may mean that it's actually recording your movements and maybe even offering some sort of extra resistance that you can adjust with a controller rather than twisting a handle on it. Probably more expensive to do the electric one, but I bet they both get the job done.
All right. Well, thank you very much. You have a good day.
You too. And good luck with that pedaling.
Surely. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Thank you for that there, Jan. And let's go to Susan in Sarasota. Good morning to you, Susan.
Good morning. I'm always so grateful when I can ask you a question. My boyfriend has AFib, and he was supposed to get an ablation up north, but he was sick, and then they didn't have enough fluid because of the hurricane. And when we go back in June, he will have an ablation. He had AFib every day. He got his medication adjusted. He's doing better, but he's dizzy and lightheaded and having trouble with the new medication. We wanted to go to some of the talks at Sarasota Memorial. However, we're rethinking it. There are some talks about heart. We're rethinking it because he's got some damaged lung. He's had tons of, we both get upper respiratory. And I remember you're saying this is really the flu season. And he can't wear a mask. His heart rate goes way, way up. I'm wondering if you think it's a good idea if we forget it and he just goes on the web and sees what he can learn.
Well, I think that right now influenza is high, and I know that COVID is going around, so it may be worth it to avoid crowded spaces, especially in medical facilities. But you can find a lot of information on the web.
Yeah.
And I guess one question is, has his sleep apnea been evaluated?
Yeah, we both have sleep apnea.
Good. Okay, so you're addressing that. So you're at the point where ablation is necessary. Why not just call up a Sarasota doctor and get the ablation done here?
He's planning to do it up north. He's already had one ablation.
Oh, okay.
He's had an ablation, and he was on flecainoid, and it stopped holding. And I got him an appointment with a cardiologist down here, and she put him on something else, Sola something or other. And, and took him off a different beta blocker. I guess you don't want to be on two that have strong beta blockers. But he's having a hard time with this, and I was thinking that's probably the right way to go. And I always need validation from you. And I wanted to suggest that he also take taurine, and then we looked it up, and taurine has an interaction with his drugs. Do you think there's any use in looking up Amyla and Arjuna? He is in all the heavy meds. He's on Eliquis, and he's on 3 meds.
No, I don't think there's a lot of help to be gained by trying to throw herbs at a problem like this that needs a physical change.
Yes, that's what I think too.
I think support afterwards is a good idea, and really, getting with a good functional medicine doctor to direct your perioperative and postoperative care to help improve overall function would be a great idea, because seeing a regular primary care doctor doesn't actually promote health. Primary care's business is maintaining chronic illness.
Yeah. I'm an over-researcher, overthinker. I eat everything organic. I listen to your show vigilantly. He's learned a lot from me, but he's not like me. I mean, he's his own person, and luckily I get him to do some things. But, all right, I'm not going to keep researching these herbs. I mean, this is a big problem, and you have said that, when you need meds, you need meds. I mean, I don't think these herbs would substitute. I just am trying so hard to be helpful. Thank you. And I guess I'll forget the art gallery, too. I think I'm going to forget where there's crowds. But what about stores?
Hey, anytime you go out in a crowd, you're risking it. But let's just hope that the people who have symptoms are courteous and wear masks. Unfortunately, we're in libertarian Florida, and people feel free to infect.
I thank you so much for your advice. I think you're terrific. You'll hear from me again. Thanks a lot, Dr. Harvey.
Take care, my dear, and good luck with all that.
Thank you. Bye.
Yes, the libertarian Florida. Somebody had shown me a meme that shows WTF, welcome to Florida.
Exactly.
I've got Kirk from St. Pete on the line. Good morning, Kirk.
Hey, good morning, Doctor. I sure appreciate your show. We try to listen every Monday. I'm a 70-year-old man. We've got a Berkey water filtration system at home. We use it for everything that we do. However, we also have a SodaStream, which is a carbonation system. I drink a lot of carbonated water, and I've heard that's not too good for you. What are your thoughts on that?
I think if you like the belches, go for it. I don't see any problem with using filtered water in a SodaStream that injects a little bit of carbon dioxide into it.
All right. That's what I wanted to hear. Thank you.
You're welcome. Have a great day.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Well, we've gone dark again here on the telephone board, so I'm going to remind folks that if you're just tuning on in, we are darn glad to have you here at the Healthy Steps radio show with Dr. Fred Harvey on WMNF Tampa. You're encouraged to participate. Just give us a call at 813-239-9663. That number again is 813-239-9663. Just about 20 minutes and change left in the show, so continue to call or send your emails to dj@wmnf.org. Don't put that rush on Irene there at the end of the show. Give us a call at 813-239-9663 now. Back to you, Doc.
What I have here is an interesting question. What are the health benefits of nicotine not from cigarettes and cigars? Because nicotine occurs naturally in plants. Well, not everything naturally occurring in plants is something that we need to ingest or has significant benefit. Foxglove, an interesting plant, contains something called digitoxin. And digitoxin actually arrests the heart rate, stops it, kills you. Strychnine comes from another plant. And so, yeah, we have plant chemicals we really don't want. I don't know of any direct benefit from nicotine medically that can't be achieved another way. There is some suggestion that schizophrenia responds to nicotine, that people seem to be calmer and have maybe less hallucination with nicotine. And that is why Abraham Hoffer, the brilliant orthomolecular psychiatrist in the 1980s, I believe it was, early 80s, pioneered the use of niacin in schizophrenia and had actually decent effect. The thing is, we know that there are many layers to this that affect the way the brain works, and so that alone isn't enough. And so I know of no direct benefit for nicotine that I would recommend it for anyone, and haven't, except for in patches to help get rid of the nicotine addiction from smoking. We have callers.
Again, yes. That was a really successful little shout out. I've got Frank, Pat, and Dave. Let's go to Frank. Good morning, Frank.
Hello, Frank. We're not hearing you.
Yeah, we're not. I'm going to put him in the holding pattern and go to Pat in St. Pete. Good morning, Pat.
Morning.
Hi, Pat.
Hi, how you doing, Doctor? Love listening to you every Monday.
Glad to be here.
Thank you. I have a defibrillator implanted in me, and I'm taking 7 different kind of medications. And seems that I fired 3 physicians already, and I fired 3 primary care, and the cardiologists keep making mistakes with the medicine. What is your advice?
Well, it sounds like you need somebody to coordinate things. And, a functional medicine doctor does take the time to organize their thoughts around an individual rather than around a disease. And so getting a coach like that would be probably useful for you. Primary care doctors, unfortunately, in this current arrangement, have about 4 minutes to spend with you. Sometimes they spend 15, and then they're out of time for the rest of the day. But their ability to focus on you is just not there. And so you really need somebody, a good consultant. It may take a concierge doctor, just a regular concierge internist, to sit down long enough to sort out all of the details. But in some way, you need a higher level critical thinker than a prescriptionist.
Understood. Any way I can get information on your locale?
Yeah, you could look up Functional Medicine Florida online, and you can also look up Institute for Functional Medicine, which is the organization through which I got my education, and they have a physician finder. But if you'd like to talk to me, Functional Medicine Florida is the website.
All right, great. You have a good day.
And you as well.
Thank you there, Pat. Let's go to Dave in Parrish. Good morning, Dave.
Good morning, Dave.
Don't know what the deal is here. Let's go to Warren in Bradenton. Good morning, Warren.
Hey, Doc.
How you doing?
Can you hear me?
I can. What you got?
Okay, great. Listen, my health insurance company, my drug portion of that, just recently, just the other day, denied my COPD medicine. Apparently, they don't think I need to take it anymore, or for that particular brand. I've been taking it for a couple of years. But I was wondering, is there any, can you, if I'm reducing my dosage right now, and I'm trying to see if can I get off of that, somehow increase my lung capacity by taking, some, herbs and stuff clear the mucus.
I've watched people improve their lung function. I've watched people have asthma go away. Lung strengthening exercises. There's a book called Breathe that teaches about breath. It's really an interesting, very comprehensive book. But there are also devices you can get, incentive spirometers that you breathe through that make it resistant to breathe in, so you strengthen your diaphragm. And then there's other ones that actually make it harder to breathe out, so you strengthen your exhalation. And so there's lots of ways to do this. Yoga helps. Anything where you do breath work and breathing teaches your body to accept a different way of breathing. But I wouldn't just jump off of an inhaler that you've been on for a long time simply because the nefarious profiteer called the illness insurance prescription benefit middle manager that extracts a profit from your suffering. Those people need to be actually put in place, but unfortunately oligarchs just bought the government, and so from now on you'll have to learn to suffer with the situation because the corporation has the upper hand now for maybe a generation. So we have to actually figure out how to defend ourselves and actually get away from pharma and insurance manipulators like that so that we actually drive our own healthcare. And that's what I try to teach on here. So there are lots of things you can do, but you might even want to find a functional medicine doctor and chat about other things you can do to reduce inflammation in your body to improve your breath.
That's the course I'm trying to pursue, because I don't seem to be improving taking this inhaler twice a day.
No, it doesn't do that. It actually makes you worse.
It helps, but I do get more tired now.
Yes.
But, and by the way, the health insurance company was United, the Silver.
Oh, my favorite user. It's not a health insurance company. It's an illness insurance company. We should stop using the euphemism that makes them sound like they actually do something good.
Well, I take 3 other drugs for my heart condition, blood pressure, and also, for, I don't know, I forgot now, but I was thinking of I'd pay them $58 a month just to be on this drug plan. I have regular Medicare.
Yes.
And I thought that would cover it, but apparently we're not immune, and they just make indiscriminate decisions out there.
They do, yeah. They do that so they can actually keep some cash on board so they can game the system and make it look like they're not losing as much money paying claims. It's a whole scam because capitalism drives the system.
Why don't we put insurance companies in charge of our health care? This is
Why don't you ask the representative, Jeff Stubbe, or whoever's in your neighborhood, why it is they vote for oligarchic control of our lives?
Yeah, why is Elon Musk all of a sudden in charge of the Treasury Department?
Why isn't an unelected official got his fingers in all the confidential and classified data? Well, it's because we sold our government to an oligarch. That's pretty simple. That's why.
My blood pressure.
Take a breath. Do some breath work and bring your blood pressure back down. You're going to be dealing with this for a generation, so get used to it. Get ready for the ride, bub. We got to actually be a strong resistance here.
Could I ask you one parting question?
What's up, sir?
Are your fees exorbitant to the fact, I got to be like a millionaire to come see you, or?
Well, I think that's a discussion to have with my staff if you want to call in. But I'm actually working on some really cool new services that we're going to launch this year. So look forward to some more accessible information. This is going to be a great year.
Of course, I'm going to come see you, I think. But anyhow, thanks. Thanks for being here. Have a good day.
You too.
Okie doke, we're dark here again. So for all you foot draggers and dawdlers, you get one more chance. We're down to about the last 10 minutes. Give us a call at 813-239-9663. And doctor, just dig deep into that mailbag of emails. What have you got? All
righty. So here's one from Randy in Palm Harbor. Are there any proven science-based drugs to assist me from losing memory? I'm 70, don't drink, smoke, and I eat well. Thank you. Unfortunately, no. They've tried about 285 different drugs now. There are none that work in Alzheimer's disease. And so the best thing to do is take care of yourself, because that is the intervention. Reducing systemic inflammation is the answer. And in fact, it's so important that we're finding that the drugs like Ozempic and Wegovy and Mounjaro, these meds are actually treating cognitive decline. I'm going to be launching a program officially a little bit later this year with a very prominent published a celebrity neurologist, and we're going to start working on some people who have memory loss and Parkinson's, and try to help them reverse their condition. But the bottom line is, you got to start with the things I talked about for heart disease: exercise, diet, elimination of alcohol, tobacco, fixing your lifestyle. Working on all these things actually changes your risk of disease. And so there's nothing simple. There are no panaceas for anything in life. You can't fix your finances with a wish and a crypto coin. It ain't gonna happen. You need to do hard work, focused investment, reducing in all of your expenses. And the way I look at that medically is your expenses are your toxins. So stop eating the toxins, stop smoking the toxins, stop drinking the toxins. So that's one way of actually stopping loss. Another one is do smart investment, eat whole foods, take good supplements, check your omega-3 levels, do these things that support you so things work better. I think we have a caller.
Indeed we do. We've got one last bingo. Let's go to Ellen in Venice. Good morning, Ellen.
Hello.
Hello there.
Hi, how are you?
Excellent. How are you?
I'm good. So I have a question. I just turned 70, and my big birthday present was I was diagnosed with osteoporosis.
Aha.
So I've been reading all the different meds that you can take for it, and I'm totally confused as to what would be the best. What would you suggest at this point?
Well, I would suggest that if you've been diagnosed with osteoporosis, you need to do a couple of things. One, you need to do a good diet history, and you need to discover if you're getting at least a half a gram of protein per pound body weight a day. If you're not, you're protein malnourished and you're developing osteoporosis by dietary choice. Then you need to look at the amount of vegetables you're getting in, because your vegetables provide a lot of minerals. So you should be getting between 5 and 8 servings of vegetables a day, with about 2 servings of fruit to get some more minerals. Also, calcium is not the answer for building bones, though it does help. So you can take some extra calcium in the form of calcium hydroxyapatite, which is calcium pyrophosphate, another word for it. It is a bone calcium. It uses all the chemicals that are in your bones, so it actually supports the whole process. You need good vitamin D, and you really should have some further analysis. You need to get an omega-3 analysis to see if your omegas are in balance, because if they're out of balance, you're going to actually be eating bone with inflammation. You need to look at an N-telopeptide test, NTX for short. N-telopeptide looks at collagen from the bone loss in your urine. It can tell if you're having too much bone turnover. If the level is elevated, it means you're developing osteoporosis. You can also look at another chemical called PINP, pro-collagen peptide, and that shows how much collagen you're making. So if you're making less collagen than you're losing in your bone, you're in a net loss situation and you're in trouble. And so there's a lot of things you can do before you even consider taking medication. But if you do all those things and then you check your NTX and your PINP a second time and they haven't improved, it's time to rethink it.
Right. Okay. I think my diet's pretty good, and I exercise, and I don't smoke or anything. But
good. So what's your protein intake? How many grams a day?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'd have to. Right. I'll have to sit down and figure it out. Yeah.
Yeah. You need to, because you think your diet's good, but it may not be.
Right. I get it. You're right. Okay. I got more testing to do, I guess.
Yeah. Good luck on that. Have fun.
All right.
Get yourself healthy.
Thank you. Yeah. Okay, thanks so much.
You're welcome.
Okay, bye.
Oh, Ronnie, we do have some stragglers that came on in. I've got Ralph and Greg. Let's go to Ralph in Palm Harbor. Good morning there, Ralph.
Morning. Hi.
How are you?
Hi, Doc. So, Doc, I've been sick with this for at least 8 years, and I am spacey in the morning. When I get up all day, I say like somebody drugged me, or I drank 3 or 4 drinks. I drink very little alcohol, if not any. I on no medications, and I do exercise. And nobody can find it. I've been to 27 doctors, did MRI, CT scans, all kinds of different things. Tried all kind of medications. They don't know what's wrong with me. And you probably won't either, but I figured I'd give you a call and see what you thought.
So, have you seen a functional medicine doctor?
Yes.
Oh, okay. And have you had any tests of your metabolome? Like, have you looked at your omega-3 balance?
Yep. All my stuff comes back good. All my liver, my blood work, everything is good. They keep saying, oh, you don't have this, you don't have that. Oh, that's good. Oh, that's great. Oh, that's good. And they never could find anything.
You did check your fish oil levels and your methylmalonic acid levels, glutathione levels.
Yep, I had all those tests done by outside sources from different homeopathic doctors and stuff, and they just first they said toxic chemicals. I did all that. That didn't do that. Then they said Lyme disease. Then you don't have Lyme disease. You have Epstein-Barr. No, you don't have that. It went away. The Lyme disease. So at this point, I have no idea.
Yeah, it sounds like you got a quite complex case there, and unfortunately, without data in front of me, I couldn't really make a suggestion as to what it might be. I think you need to have, unfortunately, a consultation with somebody who can go through all that data and sift through the entire thing and give you another opinion.
Only trouble is I've done this for like over 27 different doctors.
Yeah.
To the clinics where they're supposed to detox, the help for Lyme disease and give you all the medication, IV, blood therapy, where they blood ozone, and all that. Nothing ever helps.
Sounds to me like you are an enigma, and unfortunately, I don't think I have much to offer here on the radio today.
Well, I understand, but maybe if it's something you think you can look into, or you're not interested in dealing with that.
Well, if you look me up at Functional Medicine Florida, we could look. But we need to go through hours worth of data to figure out what's going on here. Okay?
Yeah, it's a strange thing because I just don't always the same thing every day over and over, and it always seems to stay the same.
So there's a pattern. There's a pattern there that somebody's missing. We got to spend some time and uncover a pattern.
There's a zebra in the room.
Yes. We just have to figure out what that pattern is. Is it vertical stripes or horizontal stripes?
Yep, that's what I'm trying to find out. But okay, Doc. Now, Doc, where are you located?
Actually, check out Functional Medicine Florida. I'm in Sarasota.
Okay.
But I think I'll move on now and give you a chance to look me up.
Thank you, Doc. Thanks for taking the time.
Take care.
Okie doke. Greg, you've got about a minute. What have you got for us today up there from Chicago?
Hey, gentlemen, can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir. What do you got for us?
I just got out of an appointment with a gastroenterologist that wants to do an endoscopy and a colonoscopy. I'm due for a colonoscopy by age, but I've had swallow issues. They want to do a test that is a swallow study that involves drinking barium and then also an X-ray with a speech pathologist watching as they do the study prior to an endoscopy. My concern is I've had some thyroid sensitivities. I really try to take care of my thyroid. Whenever I've gotten an X-ray, I wear a thyroid collar. Now I'm going to get direct X-ray of the thyroid along with having to drink barium, which is a radioactive substance, as you know, and I'm concerned about both, about getting that back out of my body, if I even can.
So barium, remember that barium is not a radioactive substance. It's a radio-opaque substance, and that's why it's used, because X-rays can't get through it. And to get it out of your body, you need a good laxative. Drink a bottle of magnesium citrate soda or something like that, whatever the gastroenterologist tells you to do to get it moving through. But yeah, it does get bound up if you don't drink a lot of water. A couple liters of water after it really helped to flush it down through too. But the X-ray you're going to get for a barium swallow, it will be diagnostic and useful, and it's not enough radiation to terribly worry about getting once on your thyroid. You got more radiation in your thyroid from eating food that Fukushima's radioactive iodine came over and landed right on top of our breadbasket in the Midwest. So you've been exposed to way more than an X-ray would ever give you just from that. So remember to eat your nori, take your seaweed, get some iodine to protect that. Iodized sea salt's very useful too. But we are done, Greg. I'd love to tell you more, but good luck with that endoscopy and that barium swallow. I want to thank Bill.
So much.
I want to thank Bill for running the show today, and Irene, thank you for fielding all the calls, and I really appreciate all of you for calling in, because it's been another really stimulating show.
And I agree with that, Doc. It has been a very interesting show, and I owe a lot to you, but also a lot to our callers. So thank you out there, folks. But I also want to say thank you to Irene. She is cannot be thanked enough for helping us through this. And so until next Monday at 10 o'clock, everybody, take care and stay healthy. You have been listening to the Healthy Steps Radio Show with Dr. Fred Harvey here on WMNF Tampa. Coming on up next is 5 minutes of NPR headline news, followed by the Sustainable Living Show, hosted by the sagacious Tanya Vidovic. Until next Monday at 10 a.m., thank you for supporting and listening to the Healthy Steps Radio Show with Dr. Fred Harvey, right here on WMNF Tampa, your community conscious radio station. Stay safe, stay thoughtful, and know that you are loved.